guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy last day of April. I cannot believe it. It has been such a wild journey trying to upload every day. I did skip yesterday just because I was spending some quality time with my best friend who was visiting, so it was so fun to see her. She's getting married this year, so we got to go wedding dress shopping, which was so fun because this is literally my oldest friend that I've had in America, and I'm so pumped that she's getting married and I'm so excited for her. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, and I took a little break, which was really nice, and I'll probably be taking more breaks. I feel like there's a lot going on. I also am filming this video in collaboration with one of my best friends here on YouTube, Miss Heather Austin. Oh my gosh, I'm sure you guys are already following her, but in case you don't, she is from Mississippi. She's my Southern belle, and we both love makeup, we both love fashion, and she loves glitter and shimmery things on her channel. And if you like new makeup releases and will I buy it videos, she's definitely worth checking out. So highly recommend. I will link her down in the description box. You guys need to go ahead, give her a follow, tell her I said hi, and if you already know who she is, leave me a comment as well. Leave me a star so I know that you guys are already following Heather. And yeah, today we're doing a tag video, so if that sounds interesting to you, then just keep watching. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on my channel. If you like new makeup releases, I just bought the new Juvia's Place bronze collection. I'm so excited to try out their duo bronzer. Oh my gosh, that was such a fun surprise drop. I love the way Juvia's Place just drops a new collection like it's nothing. So I can't wait to test that out if you guys are interested in new makeup releases like that. I also have a new collection that's dropping from Sigma. Oh my gosh, I just got it in PR yesterday, so I will definitely have a video on that. I don't even think they've sneak peeked it yet, so I'm not really sure how much I'm supposed to say, but it's coming out next month, so I feel like we'll be hearing about it soon, and you'll definitely be seeing swatches and demos on my channel. So if all that sounds interesting to you, I wouldn't want you to miss it. Definitely recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post a new video, and without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so the tag video me and Heather are collabing on today was created by Angelica L, and not to be confused with Angelica Nyquist. So many Angelicas, and they're both from Sweden. Also, Angelica just did this video in collaboration with Katie Marie. So I will link Angelica L's channel, Angelica Nyquist's channel, Katie Marie's channel, and Heather Austin's channel down in my description box so you can check out all the videos. And yeah, I'm so excited to be answering these questions. So the first question is, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents me as far as color story, which palette would I choose? And this question, oh my gosh, I struggled and I wanted so badly to pick like a blue-green eyeshadow palette, but in the end I went for, I feel like this is gonna surprise a lot of you, but I went for my Pat McGrath Bronze Seduction palette. I feel like the reason I picked this color story is because there is that bright pop of red, which I think looks so great with tan skin, and I do like neutrals as well. So I picked this color story because it has neutrals, but it also has like some unexpected sparkly shades. There's this like iridescent shade that's like a white to a lime green, so it does capture my spirit. I think I would have loved to pick something that was all blues and greens, and as much as I love those, I feel like the last couple of weeks I've been leaning towards more neutral palettes, and it's so interesting because I feel like I've been such a colorful person for so long, and that's not going anywhere, but the things I'm doing now compared to what I did when I was working full-time have changed. So like for going to different appointments, I feel like I gravitate towards more neutral things. I also recently, very recently, like I had my first shift yesterday, got a part-time job working at a small local boutique. So I'm so excited, and I think the vibe of the boutique is like more neutral colors, so I've been just leaning towards more neutral palettes. So I feel like that's why I went with the Bronze Seduction palette, because it has that neutral base, but then there's also some unexpected shades in here that kind of represent me at this moment in time. Nothing, I feel like, when it comes to makeup is ever set in stone. Tomorrow I could be back into color again, or the next day, or tomorrow you might see me with the most colorful rainbow look. I still definitely love color, but you know, you have to pick something for the sake of filming this video and moving along with life, and I figured that was the palette that really represented me color story wise at this moment in time. So question number 2 is if I could pick an eyeshadow palette where the packaging represents me. And this one I decided to go ahead and cheat a little bit because I feel like obviously you'd want to just pick one palette. So technically I picked 8 palettes, so I definitely cheated, but hear me out. So I had to pick the gold palette because I'm such a yellow gold person. I know some people gravitate towards silver and platinum, but I've always been into yellow gold. I just feel like it works so well with my tan skin tone. So if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you'll always see me typically wearing gold jewelry, and I typically just gravitate towards gold, so I had to pick the gold palette because, I mean, it's so simple, but it's also so striking and just like bam, in your face, you know, it's like a gold palette. And then to represent my colorful side, I picked all of the Kaleidos 5-pan eyeshadow palettes because I love color so much, and each of these is designed differently, but they're so whimsical and abstract. I feel like it really captures the wilder side of my personality. So yeah, I basically picked gold and the rainbow. Like, way to cheat on the answer, but I mean, I just love every little detail in these palettes. So I picked the Kaleidos palettes to represent the other side of my personality as far as packaging goes. So question number 3, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette that represents spring, I would pick the Circle Loco palette. I think this is one of the most fun makeup launches of 2021 for me. I think a few of us had seen sneak peeks of this on the internet because this palette did leak, and I wasn't sure if it was a real palette or if it was some, like, you know, made up palette or like a knockoff palette, and then it turned out it was actually launching, and I was so excited, and I definitely want to play with this more. But I feel like this is such a fun palette for spring. It's colorful. I mean, I always think of pastels and greens and pinks when I think of spring. Like, I really wanted to pick the Muse Beauty that I think it was like the garden palette that they did that was limited edition. I don't think you can get that one anymore, so I didn't end up wanting to pick that one because you can't buy it anymore, but I thought this one is such a fun palette for spring. There's some pastels, some beautiful deepening up shades, as well as some gorgeous metallics, so I really enjoy this palette, and I think it's just perfect for spring. Okay, the next question is, what is an eyeshadow palette that represents happy? And I just had to pick the Glamlight Ice Cream palette, mostly because of this adorable packaging. I mean, who can say no to this sprinkle-filled ice cream cone with the pastel shades, and then the inside just reminds you of just the happiest of times with a beautiful color story, some pastels, some neutrals. I mean, it's such a fun palette, and the formula is really great too, so I definitely think this palette represents happy for me. Okay, so if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents the dark grungy me, I would pick the Melt Gemini palette. Now this palette I actually ended up passing on when it originally launched because I think this color story grew on me like as I aged a little bit. I was definitely into very neutral shades when I first started on YouTube, and then I got into the grungy shades, and then I got into color, so it's definitely been like progressive for me, the shades I'm interested in. But hands down, this is my favorite grungy color story because it has those grungy greens, and this is just such a good palette. I was sent this by a subscriber. I think she was just gonna get rid of it, and I didn't have the palette, so it was so kind of her to send this to me because I was so nervous. You guys know how Melt is. They're so hit or miss with their consistency. I have palettes that I love from Melt, and then I have palettes that I feel like really miss the mark formula-wise. So I was so happy to receive the Gemini palette, and it wasn't a dud. So that is my favorite like grungy palette that embodies me, I feel. Okay, so the next question is, what palette represents the girly in me? And I had to pick, you guys know, I feel like if you know me, you would know that this is the one I picked. This is the ABH Amrezy palette. I mean, from the pink packaging, oh my gosh, to the shades in here, like there are some neutrals, but I feel like this is so girly. It reminds me of just Barbie, which I feel like is Amrezy's whole vibe. And so I just had to pick this. Also, I just love like ABH's formula. This would be a palette I would recommend to any of my girlfriends. So that's why I picked this, because I mean, it's so girly. It's so easy to use. It blends itself. If I was recommending it to a friend, this is the one I would recommend. So that was an easy one for me to pick. Okay, question number 7. If I would pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents fun, I would pick the Juvia's Place Wahala 2 palette. I just think this palette is so much fun. I actually took it to a friend's house because she was getting ready for Halloween. So I let my friend that was a loofah use this. So we used a lot of the blue glitter, and then I had a friend who was dressing up as a peacock, and I got to use this palette on her. And yeah, I just think this is such a fun palette. So many fun pops of color. There's a beautiful multi-chrome in here as well. I just think this is such a fun palette, and there's such a great memory attached to this for me. So yeah, I think this is a palette that definitely represents fun to me. Okay guys, so the last question, if I could pick an eyeshadow palette in my collection that represents inspiration to me. So I picked kind of 2 wild cards. I couldn't just pick one. I picked 2 because I think these ones will really surprise you. But these 2 have really inspired me, especially to step outside of my comfort zone. So the first one I will say is the Mary Jane palette from Milk Cosmetics. This is a really good one as well. I picked this up during the Sephora sale, and I'm not a fan of cool tones. You guys know this about me, but I love that Milk kind of threw me a little bone and left me some green cool tones to play with. So I really love that about this palette. So it really, really inspires me to get outside my comfort zone and try and enjoy cool tones, because I feel like with my very warm complexion, I feel like I cannot pull off cool tones, and I feel like a lot of tan people kind of feel that way. So yeah, I just really am so grateful to this palette for inspiring me to get out of my comfort zone and try cool tones. I'm not 100% sold on them yet, but I'm happy and grateful for that palette for doing that for me. And then this one's gonna be the really wild card, but honestly, this palette has me shook. Like, it's just 4 matte eyeshadows and then 2 face shades and a highlighter, and I've been wearing this thing, like I've worn this 2-3 times already, and I just got this palette. So I'm like blown away. Such good quality. You would not believe that this is a $14 eyeshadow palette. Like, if I didn't tell you how much this was and we covered up the fact that it was e.l.f., I feel like you would at least guess that this was like a $30 to $40 palette. It's so well made. Really nice quality, and I just love the matte eyeshadows in here. And I posted this video, I think sometime this week. I'll try and remember to link it for you guys. And I did an all matte eyeshadow look with this, which is so not me. And I would have never in a million years like dreamed to do an all matte eyeshadow look, especially with neutrals. Like, oh my gosh. And the smoky eye is so good. Like, I love that eyeshadow look that I did in that video. So I would say just, you know, what's really inspiring me right now is these 2 palettes, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, okay? I'm trying to do all mattes, I'm trying to do some cool tones, and I'm very excited about it. So that was the last question. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go ahead and check out Miss Heather and all the wonderful ladies I link down in my description box. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will see you in my next video soon. Bye guys!